This Carolina Panthers starter. I think they call this a satin jacket. These originally came out, I think, in the 80s, if I'm not bad mistaken. I mean, I know it was at least the 80s. I don't think they were in business in the 70s. I'm not sure. But these were the satin jackets. They were USA made. But this one here came out in the 90s, obviously, because the Panthers didn't come out until the 90s. And they had started making these jackets in Korea. This one's size 2X. Made in Korea. You got your Panther on the sleeve. I might have mentioned it before in something. When I think of Korea, I grew up on these starter Parker jackets. The Parkers with the hoods. I mean, I grew up on these too, but I mean, what I really loved is the Parkers. And when I got older, started collecting them, I saw that they were primarily made in Taiwan and in Korea. Primarily in Korea, I think. But there was a time, I think maybe a little bit later, and it seemed like all the NFL jackets were made in Korea. I don't know if they switched everything over. Initially, I had noticed it seemed like a bunch of the NFL jackets were made in Korea and some of the basketball ones were made in Taiwan. That being said, I still think both were probably made in both places. I'd have to think about that and do some more research. Starter company has been kind of hard to do research on, in my opinion. Everybody knows somewhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, they sold out to China, and they started mass producing stuff and putting in Walmart, just, basing everything off of the name. And it really, obviously the quality went down and all of that. But I wanted to review this jacket. I really love this one. I never could find me a Panthers parka that I really liked real good. But this is a sweet jacket. There's another story. I'm not even going to get into it. There's a big story about this jacket. Yeah, let me not go into that. And I'm sorry I'll try to learn how to edit that out of this, because it's just non-relevant, and I don't like it when somebody brings something up and then they don't expand on it. But anyway, I'm just babbling on as usual. This one's got the sewn on patches. I mean, there's really nothing to tell about it. There's a little stainage right here on the wrist, on the white part there on the wrist. I'm gonna try a toothbrush, try to get that off of there. It's a cool jacket. What I was gonna say a while ago, real quick, I probably might have said this before making a video one time, but Korea and Taiwan, when I see it now, I'm like, oh man, that's what I want that. I mean, and ironically, I really like them better than the USA made ones, but that's because I like the Parkers. And I don't think they ever made the Parkers in the USA. They made these satin jackets in the USA. See them all the time. I love them, but I love the Parkers better. So if I see a Korea, even clothing, vintage clothing or something I see is made in Korea, especially, or Taiwan, I flock to it kind of. It's good quality. And it brings me to mind, I was working with a guy, a few years back. He was an expert on a lot of things. He taught me a lot. And he was telling me that years ago in the 70s, he was working somewhere selling guitars, and everybody back then in the early 70s, everybody wanted USA, 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 but they started coming out with these Korean guitars, and everybody's like, that's junk. Nobody don't want that. We don't want that. We want USA made only. But now, I noticed when I was working with him selling guitars, don't get me wrong, the USA's worth more, but those Korean guitars that was coming out new when he was selling them, and they were cheap and had a hard time selling because nobody wanted them. Now those are sought after. So Korea, in my opinion, I don't know, somebody else could expand on it further about the whole manufacturing thing, but it's quality to me, man. These buttons, I will say real quick, looks good. These buttons, they look like these. I don't even know if these might even be plastic. I can't tell if they're metal or not. They do feel kind of hard. I'm not sure. But they look different than the ones on the Parkers that are metal buttons. But anyway, that's the Panthers jacket. Just want to make a quick review of it. And that's it.